Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of On the Delo. This is episode 133. That is right. We're cruising. We are cruising. So this is a solo podcast. The last one that you had listened to were a couple friends of mine in business, and I had a lot of fun. I love doing the in-person with other people podcast because I get to learn a lot about people's stories and what resonates with them and why they do the things that they do and what happens. But I really love just talking to myself. I know that some of you are listening, which is great, but I also love talking to myself and envision this. I will be driving around town a lot, and I will just have things that just kind of download into my head, and I think about that, and I'm like, that'd be a great podcast. And some of them are, I'm sure, and some of them are probably not as great. But the fact of the matter is, I love being able to talk about things that I think about during the day, hoping that I can give you all a perspective out of my mind that helps you give your own perspective and create some sort of, let's just say, I don't know, new concept in your head, something like that. But if you're watching this on YouTube, check out my new outfit. This is straight from Ethiopia. My Yedidia, he got me this shirt when he went to go visit family in Ethiopia, and I absolutely love it. It's very cool. You can tell it's handmade, is that? Yeah, handmade and the whole 9 yards. And it's got a chain, and it's kind of Michael Jackson-ish, which is really cool because I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. And I'm very honored to be wearing the garb of Ethiopia royalty, or however you want to call it. So that being said, a couple key items here. We do have our Built Different community. It's being built right now as we speak. It's what Jeremy, Scott, and I are doing to parlay the Built Different Mastermind, which we had huge success with this year. We are now creating a community which will be in let's just say it's going to be something that's going to be for everybody, and something that people are going to want and to be a part of, just because of all, not just the added value, but the other people in the community, the guests. I mean, all that we're going to be able to bring to you is just going to be, we're just so excited to bring this to you, and we're building it all out from scratch right now, as far as the template, the community itself, the back end stuff. We're going to own this, site and be able to bring on guest speakers, put stuff in our platform. So it's not a Facebook group. It's not anything other than something that we have and that we're creating on our own. So we're excited about that. The other thing too is I've got my new book. It's coming out in November. It's called Reignite Your Spark, and just getting started by me. I'm excited to share this with you. We'll talk more in depth and detail as we're doing some more promos on this, but that's what the cover looks like. Still tweaking a few things, but I can't wait to share more of this with you. So reignite your spark. I want to know how you all reignite your spark, for sure. Today, quick podcast. I want to talk about, how do you see yourself, right? Right now, a lot of people, in my opinion, are looking at all sorts of ancillary, let's just say, vehicles. And these vehicles sometimes will put in their mind a way of portraying how they look at themselves. Let me kind of define that. Simplistically, it's like we are what we believe. So if you believe that you're not good enough, then there's a good concept out there that kind of strives to tell you that you probably are not doing the things to be good enough, but you really are good enough. So not to get too philosophical, because I don't have a philosophical, bone in my body, but I think about this a lot, and especially being, at this age now, understanding and realizing the things that I understand that I didn't understand or, have any concept of when I was younger, because I was living in a world of what I believed would dictate how I reacted and how I succeeded at certain things. And then let me explain. If you look back to even high school, you look at high school, what a popularity contest that could be, right? You know, what clothes were you wearing? What haircut did you have? Did you have an earring, you know, at that time, this and that? Did you have zits? I mean, all of these things that can be very instrumental to a young, you know, boy or girl on how they perceive themselves and then how they end up doing through the rest of their lives. And a lot of that stuff can attach onto somebody's psyche for a very long time until they decide to, let's just say, unattach it, you know, from the baggage train that they are, you know, just compounding that baggage onto. And sometimes it can get worse over time because you start believing a story that really isn't true, but it is true inside your own brain. You're kind of like, God, you know, I'm this or I'm that, and really it's just a belief. It's a belief system that's been implemented, you know, inside of your brain for whatever reason, and because you believe that, it can really dictate how far you can, you know, go in certain aspects of your life. And when we look at, say, the physical aspect of life and how that has a play, you know, a lot of times when people get, let's just say, physically sick or overweight or have certain, you know, things that go on that they're not happy about, they just kind of assume that that's just the way that it should be. And that's just how that they were, you know, meant to be, you know, growing older and not being able to, they don't have the confidence. They start lacking a lot of the confidence that, you know, would be there if they didn't have a lot of those, you know, side issues that they were, you know, having problems with. And so when you look at the power of vision and how you're envisioning yourself and how you look at yourself in the mirror and how other people are envisioning you, there's just a lot to digest there. And so at the end of the day, when you're wondering about like imposter syndrome, we've talked about this a lot. That's kind of the opposite effect, where you're the most qualified in a room of people per the business and per what you do and per your knowledge and all the things, that what ends up happening is you have this this syndrome where you don't believe it. And if you don't believe something, then quite honestly, it's not true, right? I mean, think about it. And so again, we're getting really deep and kind of in the weeds and stuff like that, but it's like, who dictates your standards and who makes the standard? And as I go through life and as I get older, and most people as they get older, they just don't give a crap. They just don't care. You know, if you notice old people and you go to an old person's home, like they'll sit there and they'll just fart right in front of you, you know. But when you're younger, you're like scared to fart, right? You don't want to hear anybody to hear or smell it or this and that. And it's interesting as we get older and we have these perceptions and these concepts of like, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to offend, or I don't want to, and a lot of times it's pulling away from the true person, the true self of who you are. And so when you have these different things going on in your head that you have, you're not confident, you know, because of the physical or even the mental aspect of who you are, what you're doing. And every time you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, oh, I'm just not good enough today. Oh, I feel horrible today. Oh, I can't do this. Just putting those words out there are going to contribute to the basis that you won't, can't, and aren't going to. And that's one thing that I've even had to work on over time, to realize that if I put those words out there, or if I'm not looking forward to doing something, then I'm just not going to do it with grace. I'm not going to do it with any sort of skill. I'm just going to go through the motions. And again, to me, life is not something that you just want to go through motions and just kind of be there. You want to do any and everything, no matter how big or how small, whether it's washing dishes to, you know, making your bed to going on a walk. You know, you want to enjoy the moment and be present within the time and just kind of understand, like, how do I see myself doing these activities? And if you truly hate doing those activities and you can hand them off to somebody else or not partake in things that make you miserable, then don't do that. I mean, that's, again, it's not resonating with you, and it's just creating this aspect of you not feeling confident of who you are, what you're doing. So if you again, hang around with those negative thoughts or those people that put those negative thoughts in you, then, you know, it can really drag you down and for a long time. And it becomes part of your life. And then it just takes that one moment for somebody to give you a compliment and for people around you to look at you in a different way. And then you start looking at yourself in a different way. And when you start looking at yourself in a different way and you see yourself as the person that you've always dreamed about, that you want to be, because remember, our bodies are just physical aspects. These are just, you know, meat suits, as they would call them. It's just our humanness. It's just who we are as a human being, but it's not who we are as a whole. We have a mind, and we have a thing that goes on. And one of my coaches has told me so eloquently, when you have a thought, you don't own that thought. That thought is not you. When you're having thoughts about, you know, things that are negative, those are not about you. That's not who you are. You're not recognized or you're not defined by that thought. And so when you have those negative thoughts, it's such a great way to be able to take that, look at it, acknowledge it, say, I'm having this thought. This is not who I am. This is not how I want to be. This is not what I want to do. And then you throw it out, and then the power of what we have as individuals is to be able to take another thought and create something positive out of it, and create something that within our brains and within our minds, we can, you know, all of a sudden transform and move into a better direction that helps us live the best life possible, to reignite those sparks, as I talk about in the book. So when you can reverse negativity in uncertainty, and you know that you can do it, and you're conscious of it, and you understand that if somebody says something negative about you, it's not about you, it's about them. If you understand that if you have a negative, you know, concept or a thought about yourself, it's really not your thought or your concept. It's something that's come into your psyche that you can, again, acknowledge and throw out. These are very powerful solutions to helping people get out of funks and help them be more productive, and help them find the passions and the life and the love that they want to, you know, I truly believe that everybody really wants to have. I really think that the human construct is one of happiness and just being part of a community that lends to that happiness. Again, being a part of friends and people that bring you up and not bring you down. See you as you see yourself in a light that you share with them as well. So when you are basically defining per se or judging because of a physical attribute of somebody, okay, if you look at the physical first, why are you doing that? You have to ask yourself that question. Why? How is that person any different from you, other than the fact that maybe there's I think they call it an adjective or something, you know, based on, you know, whatever is going on with them physically. First of all, who cares, right? Second of all, does that person uplift you? Does their spiritual, you know, resonance come into you when you are with them? It excites you. You're creating together. You're hanging out. You're sharing. You're doing all these things. That, to me, at this point in my life, as I was talking to one of my really good clients that was here earlier, that's where I'm at in life. If I'm not going to a meeting looking completely 100% forward to it, and I can't be myself, and I can't look in the mirror and be like, I'm a kick-ass person that's going to lend some great kick-ass love and advice and spirit to the person across from me because I want them to benefit. I want them to feel good about this interaction, and I want them to feel good about who they just met with and how that can parlay into the rest of their day to feel good. That, to me, is everything at this point in my life. And it's just not about, you know, when we talk about business, it's just not about making the sale, selling somebody on something. All that stuff will just come. It just comes down the road. It just comes naturally. People are attracted to people that give them goodness and love and treat them well. And when you do that and you have those things going for you within a relationship, then they want to give you more. And more is everything from the story of their lives. They want advice. They'll give you their business, and they'll look at you as a friend. And that's what I really like to do in business is I want to look at all of these people, and I do, as friends. Some over the years, and even today, I'll get phone calls where they become transactions, but I want to turn those transactions into friendships because they don't know me, but they will. And if I don't have a positive outlook and I don't see myself as the best of what I do or the best of who I am, then I can't give them what I feel that it is that they're looking for. And if it's something that they're not looking for, and I get quote unquote rejected, it's not me that's getting rejected. It's just the fact that their resonation, their ability to resonate with who I am or what I'm giving or what I'm doing, it's just not there for them. And that's okay. We move on to those that do resonate to us. Because if you think about all the people and all the energy in the world, the way that we can connect online and with, millions upon millions of people through social media networks and this and that, you will find more people than you'll ever know what to do with. And we can't, it's just crazy with technology and how all that stuff happens. So again, changing your environments, changing the habits, changing the way that you look at things, all of this stuff has really, in a way, helped me be able to see myself in a lot better, context as well. Look, if you consume trash, you slowly become not motivated. You become dependent on the next trash that you're going to look at, right? If you're looking at one car wreck and you go down that rabbit hole, you're going to want to go see another car wreck. You're going to want to see somebody else getting beat up. I mean, it's really bad out there. So while technology is a friend, it can also be a foe. And it's all really in the aspect of how you want to live your life and what you want to be within your life. And I like to look at puppies. I like to look at puppies. I like to look at waterfalls. I like to look at business motivational stuff. I like to, watch Diddy eat tacos. All that stuff makes me very happy. So again, what you consume a lot of times becomes who you are and how you feel. And that's true in food, but it's also true in the way that we consume media, friends, and all those things around us. Very important, I feel. This goes both ways. Make sure that you're allowing yourself to be good to those around you. Not a lecture. It's just something that selfishly, you will feel better by doing it. And selfishly, they will feel better by you doing it, and they're going to want to hang out with you more. So yes, we all live in a society of joking and kidding, and that's great. I mean, all that stuff should absolutely come out of love and should be done. I'm not saying don't go old school and don't be, don't play tricks or have fun, but give more compliments than you do the other stuff so people really understand and they feel good about hanging around you. If somebody's down on some portion of their life, whether that's how they feel confidently to present things or whether that's how they feel physically or how they're feeling emotionally, give them a compliment. Let them know that they're okay, that they're perfect the way that they are. Lend them a hand, lend them a voice in letting it resonate. It helps you build a community around you that becomes positive, and then that community bleeds into other things that you do positive, and then all those people, just create all this great positivity in life. So I do want to read something real quick that was, this was kind of cool. This is a quote by Dale Carnegie. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. That was pretty cool. I liked hearing that. There's an author that I read and kind of give me the antithesis for all this. I'll put his information in the show notes here. But anyways, he throws workshops or whatever, and he talks about how on a weekend workshop he had a fellow arrived. He was a 19-year-old kid. He was introduced as a severe depressive, right? Then the father went on to describe all his son's problems in gory detail, right? Just re-insinuating that this kid had all these problems and this is how it is. And the kid's listening to this right in front of the dad talking about it. So the guy that was giving the seminar, whose book I'm reading here, he goes, I felt bad for the boy who was standing right there and being labeled as a loser. I told the father, let's see how big we can let your son be this weekend, right? So during the seminar, the speaker addressed the young man as a worthy, capable guy, and that's how he responded. Again, a worthy, capable guy, and that's how he responded. Yet the father was calling him a severe depressive. So now you have a guy on stage that's telling this kid that he's capable and, you know, he's great and all this sort of stuff. The kid listens to it. And basically by the end of the program, he was a star at the seminar. Everybody there fell in love with this kid, boosted up his confidence. He brought in this sense of, you know, wonderful people into his life that were boosting his confidence, and he created this community within that moment right there. And at the conclusion, he gave an extraordinarily inspiring talk about how great it felt to be regarded as good. So when you take care how you see people, for the one you see is the one that you will get. So again, if you come in with a negative attitude towards somebody, you're probably going to get that back, because that's what's resonating with them at the time. And it's so avoidable, you know. Really the cap on this podcast is, I honestly believe that there is good in everybody, and I think by seeing the good in that person or those persons, and let's just say announcing it and letting it be known, it helps them basically put that goodness out there and be the person that we are traditionally supposed to be. Because I really do think that we came down here to be good to each other and to be a part of a beautiful and a wonderful community, to help each other, love each other, and really work together. So that's podcast 133. How do you see yourself? And that's the question I'll leave you with. How do you see yourself? So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for, again, listening to another solo podcast. Again, please subscribe. Leave it a 5-star. Please share this with anybody that this might resonate with. We've got some more great podcasts coming. Be doing some stuff here with Jeremy Scott. Subscribe to YouTube, all the good stuff. And until next time, peace out.